Welcome to the weekly Mesonet Weather Report. I'm Wes Lee. The state finally got a decent amount of rain recently after about a month of nothing but dry weather. The 7-day rainfall map from Wednesday shows some pretty significant accumulation scattered across the state. Most Mesonet stations received at least something. Amounts range from just over 1/10 of an inch at Clayton to almost 4.5 inches at Lahoma. It is easy to see those that received enough rain to penetrate down to 10 inches on this weekly change in the fractional water index map. The green areas all are showing some improvement week over week in the soil moisture levels. Looking at the actual index numbers at 10 inches, we still see lots of areas that need significant help in red. Numbers close to the 0 end of the scale are extremely dry at that particular depth. There are only a handful of sites at the wettest end of the scale at 1.0. The next chance of rainfall may come as early as late in the weekend. The forecast map for next week looks promising as well. The light greens indicate that the chances are leaning to above normal precipitation for the week. Hopefully we can get some rain in the areas that missed out last week. Now here's Gary with recent changes to the drought map.
Thanks, Wes, and good morning, everyone. Well, the good news is we actually got some rain. At least some people did. The bad news is a lot of people didn't. Let's get straight to the new Drought Monitor report and see what we have. Well, we did have some improvements where that rain fell, and we'll see that in just a minute on the rainfall map for the last 30 days. But we still have more than half the state covered in at least moderate drought. And we've actually had some areas that got a little bit worse. If we see out in the far western panhandle, we now have a little spot of extreme drought. So things improved a little bit in some areas, and they got worse in other areas. That's about the usual case for Oklahoma and its rainfall patterns. Well, Wes showed you those short-term rains. Let's take a look at the longer-term rains. Let's go for the 30-day Mesonet map, and that really just mirrors that short-term rain. We did have areas, very isolated areas, from 2 to as much as 5 inches in some cases. But again, that was few and far between. When we look at those blue and lighter green areas on the map, those are areas that didn't get enough rainfall. That shows up a little bit more when we look at the last 30 days departure from normal rainfall map. And again, we see deficits over much of the state from 2 to 4 inches. Some surplus amounts of 1 to 2 inches, but those again are very few and far between, and unfortunately that yellow part of the map where it signifies 2 to 3 inches below normal, way too much of that colored on this map. But where it really shows up nicely is on the percent of normal rainfall for the last 30 days. Those reds and oranges really pop out. We see that across much of the southern part of the state, parts of north central, and the Oklahoma Panhandle. But those areas of good rains also stand out pretty well, the areas of greens. Those are areas that at least saw some improvement on the latest Drought Monitor report. With some chances for rain next week, we can just hope that we get another bit of improvement on the Drought Monitor map, but we'll keep an eye on it for you. That's it for this time. We'll see you next time on the Mesonet Weather Report.